The Beavers have a lot of depth at wide receiver. Returning starter Brandon Cooks leads the way, but a crop of young recruits is already making an impact at fall camp, and one stands above the rest, Victor Bolden, who is already drawing comparisons to Brandon Cooks. Stretching, running, even a little bit of football. All of that's common at Beavers camp, but today the players had a little bit of a surprise. Midway through the day, Mike Riley stopped practice in order to give the players popsicles. In terms of the quarterback battle, Mike Riley said there hasn't been any separation between Sean Mannion and Cody Vaz, but he does hope to make a decision later this week. A lot of Beaver fans know about the relationship between wide receiver Brandon Cooks and running back Storm Woods, but the two say there is a third amigo, cornerback Larry Scott, who recently has been shooting up the depth chart after suffering a torn ACL 2 years ago. Chip Kelly isn't the only Duck moving on to the NFL after 5 Ducks were selected in last weekend's NFL draft. The Miami Dolphins traded up to the number 3 overall pick to select former outside linebacker Dion Jordan. Oregon Football Media Day isn't all seriousness. There's fun and games as well, particularly this season, with the opening of the new Hatfield-Dowling complex on the University of Oregon campus, and the players have already started to enjoy some of the new amenities. The quarterback competition between Sean Mannion and Cody Vaz is already heating up on day 2 of Beavers fall camp. But replacing Marcus Wheaton at the wide receiver position is equally, if not more important, especially with a young crop of recruits coming in this season. Peanuts, Cracker Jacks, sunflower seeds, must be baseball season. Oregon baseball head coach George Horton met with the media for the first time this year to address the 2013 season.
Tracktown, USA. Historic Hayward Field draws athletes from all across the nation to Eugene, and one of those athletes is Trent Warren. The redshirt freshman began his career at Oregon on the University Club running team last season, but was elevated to the varsity team prior to this year.
It was always kind of like a dream to join the track team. Obviously I wasn't recruited, and I knew coming to school that I was gonna probably have to be on the club team at first because my times weren't good enough. And if I, ran faster and maybe a miracle would happen, I would be on the team. And matter of fact, that's what ended up happening. It was a miracle happened, and I was able to walk onto the team here.
But Warren wasn't always a track athlete. During his sophomore year in high school, he tore his ACL on the basketball floor, and doctors advised him not to make sudden movements with his knee during rehabilitation.
The injury was tough. Tearing an ACL and a meniscus is something no one wants to go through. It's about a year to recover at the minimum.
But in his rehabilitation, that's when Warren found track.
After recovering, I just kind of decided to run track. I won my 8th grade turkey trot, and I just kind of said, hey, I'm decently fast, why not give this a shot?
In Eugene, Joey McMurray, Duck TV Sports. Some say radio is a dying industry, but don't tell that to KWVA News Director Eric Kovner.
Radio has lost some power, honestly, but you look at local communities and local activists who rely on radio, news radio in particular, it's still very powerful. And then you look on a national scale of national hosts who are syndicated for $100 million plus contracts. That says to me that radio still has some power in the media market.
You're listening to KWVA Eugene. Coming up next.
Kovner has been the news director of the University of Oregon student radio station for the last 2 years. When he started, the news department produced no original content and didn't have a single volunteer on the staff. Now, under Kovner's leadership, the staff has grown to 15 and airs 3 original news productions each week.
News is important because especially the type of news we play is not anything you're going to hear actually even on an NPR type station. We're playing really grassroots kind of news programming and producing original content programming, giving students a voice to broadcast the news that's important to them and the issues that define their lives.
In today's political landscape, a growing number of groups are focusing on and nurturing populist movements.
Kovner says this type of programming gives the Eugene community a voice that without KWVA they wouldn't have. But it wasn't news that Kovner first started in at the station. he started as a DJ and continues to broadcast his music show every Friday from 4 to 6 p.m.
I'd heard Eugene had a pretty good music scene, so first thing I sought out when I got here, pretty much the first thing I did was find the campus radio station. I came in and took a tour, and I was like, yup, give me the application. I'm filling it out right now on the spot.
Kovner has also been heavily involved in Better Fest, the station's 20th birthday celebration in the form of a music festival. After all of his accomplishments, Kovner is graduating in June and hopes KWVA continues to improve.
You know, we have some turnover every year just because of people graduating, people going abroad, things like that. But those people always seem to get replaced with new, fresh faces who want to get involved, who want to learn a new skill, or just be a part of a cool organization that is really doing some cool things.
You're listening to 88.1 FM KWVA Eugene.
In Eugene, Joey McMurray, J432 News.
Now, KEZI 9 Sports.
Good evening, I'm Joey McMurray. The Ducks made history at Autzen Stadium against Nichols, and it wasn't just because it was Mark Helfrich's first game as a head coach. Marcus Mariota, one of 3 Ducks that would make it into the record books before the day's end, sporting the new helmet. In the first, already up 7-0 are the Ducks. Marcus Mariota back to pass, finds Braylon Addison, who makes a nasty juke around a Nichols defender. He goes in for the score, 14-0 Oregon. Later in the first, handoff this time from Mariota to DeAnthony Thomas. Scoots by 1 defender, make it 2. He's into the end zone, 21-zip Ducks. DAT, the first of 3 Oregon runners to rush for over 100 yards on the day. First time in school history that's happened. Same quarter, now Nichols driving. Quarterback Bo Hebert scrambles, goes into a slide, and Mitchell nails him. Terrence Mitchell coming up, making a big hit, flags on the play, and Mitchell was ejected due to the NCAA's new targeting rule. Second quarter now. Mariota back to pass, under pressure, rolls to the right, and he makes something out of nothing. Finds Pater to put Oregon up 31-3. Next Oregon possession, Mariota on the read option. He fakes everybody out, breaks away for the easy score, 46-yard touchdown run, 38-3 Ducks. Mariota finished with 113 yards on the ground and 2 touchdowns on just 5 carries. In the third, Byron Marshall now in the backfield. He breaks away as well, past the defense, 49-yard touchdown run. He's the 3rd Duck with over 100 yards on the ground. Ducks lead 54-3 at that point and go on to win 66-3. 772 yards of total offense. That's a school record as well. But even with all the offense, Terrence Mitchell's ejection was the hot topic after the game.
I think he was coming up hard. I just think the timing was a bang-bang thing. I'd like to see the film, but that was my take on it. Maybe I'm biased because it's our team. That was my take on it. 15-yard penalty, I agree with. Ejection, though. They're trying to look out for safety. I understand that. But I just hope that there's a lot more common sense in the calling of those kind of penalties.
While Oregon faced one of last season's worst teams in the FCS, the Beavers squared off against the number 3 team in the FCS, the Eastern Washington Eagles, and the Beavers had their hands full. Mike Riley's squad ranked number 25 in the land. Sean Mannion recently named the starting QB. In the second, Eagles already lead 2017, and they add to it here. Vernon Adams rolls to the right, throws a bomb downfield complete. Eastern Washington rolling up 27-17. Now in the third, it's a shootout. Adams takes the snap, designed QB run. He dives into the end zone. Eagles lead 36-32. Adams huge in this game. But the Beavers offense was impressive as well. Sean Mannion to Brandon Cooks in the 4th quarter. Touchdown OSU. Beavers up 3. Mannion finished with 4:22 through the air. But this was Vernon Adams' game. The Eagles QB answers back with another deep pass. This one to Blair Bomber for a touchdown. 43-39 Eagles. Adams with 6 total touchdowns. No defense in this one. Beavers answer back with this Teron Ward 2-yard touchdown run. Oregon State back up 3, but the Beavers defense only stopped the Eagles once, and it wasn't here. Adams runs in to give the Eagles the lead 49-46 late. Eagles botched the extra snap, though. So the extra point, Beavers still have a chance to tie. 9 seconds left. Brandon Cooks complete over the middle. Long field goal for Trevor Romaine. 52 yards out. Beavers trying to avoid the upset. Kick has the distance, but it misses wide right. 25th FBS-ranked Beavers fall to the 3rd-ranked FCS Eagles, 49-46 at Reser Stadium. Oregon State's defense torched for 625 yards, but the Beavers don't think they overlooked the Eagles.
I don't. I think that would kind of be a discredit to that kid playing quarterback for them and all the plays that they made. And then, again, a lot of parts of our game today that were pretty much on the high level.
They did everything that we've seen on film for the most part. The quarterback made some great plays, running, just, make some nice passes and stuff like that. But they did everything that we knew what they were going to do.
Oregon women's soccer team in action against Texas as part of the Oregon Nike tournament. 10 minutes into the first half, Bree Pugh on a through ball blows past the Longhorns defense and puts it in the back of the net. Great speed, 1-0 Ducks early. Later in the first, freshman Shaylee Miner somehow threads the needle, gets it by the Longhorns keeper. Ducks go up 2-0 and hold on to win 2-1. In the majors, Thurston High School grad Dan Straley on the mound for Oakland, taking on the Rangers, but Straley gets touched up in the 5th. David Murphy takes him yard, 2-run blast, but those were the only 2 runs Straley allowed in his 5 innings of work. Next half inning, Coco Crisp with a runner on, down the line and gone. Oakland takes the lead 4-2 and wins by that score. Straley improves to 8-7 with the W. San Francisco Giants in Arizona taking on the Diamondbacks, top 4, game tied at 1, 2 on, 2 outs. Hector Sanchez doubles to the left center gap. Buster Posey and Hunter Pence come around to score 3-1 Giants. In the 5th, Giants leading 4-1 and Hunter Pence adds to it. Down the line and right for the solo shot. SF goes up 5-1. Giants victorious 8-2. Mariners playing in Houston, taking on the Astros. Scoreless tie in the 8th, scoreless no more. Jason Castro with a shot to the gap off Charlie Furbush. Jose Altuve comes around to score, and later in the inning, squeeze! Poor defense by Seattle with no one covering first. Castro scores, making it 2-0 Astros, and they win by that score. That does it for sports. Have a great night. Coming up on Duck TV Sports, Oregon football is back at Autzen Stadium for the spring game, and Oregon baseball squares off against Stanford in a pivotal Pac-12 series. All that and more coming up on Duck TV Sports. Horton ball. That's what Oregon baseball fans call the offensive approach employed by head coach George Horton and the Oregon Ducks. Usually that phrase is associated with very few hits and a lot of close games, but Oregon has been hitting the ball pretty well in conference play. Entering play Friday night, the Ducks were 2nd in the Pac-12 in batting average, behind their opponent, Stanford. Pick it up in the top of the 3rd. Line drive down the line by Danny DeKroger. Stanford strikes first, goes up 1-0. But wait, Oregon right back to work in the bottom of the 3rd. Ryan Healy with a base knock. Aaron Payne coming around 3rd. Safe! And this game seemed destined for bonus baseball from that point on. Tommy Thorpe dealing for Oregon. Gets a little bit of help from his center fielder, Connor Hoffman, tracking it down in center. And the game all the way now to the bottom of the 9th. J.J. Altobelli is walked to try and set up the double play. Aaron Payne in a tie game. No bonus baseball tonight. Stephen Packard scores, and Oregon wins in walk-off fashion 2-1 behind Aaron Payne's heroics. And keeping with baseball tradition, he's rewarded for those heroics with a shaving cream pie. Number 16, Oregon versus Washington, a sellout crowd, the most at Matthew Knight Arena in 2 years. Little dance to start things off. First half, Lloyd to Emery for the slam on the fast break. Oregon up early, 20-18. That's a top 10 play of the season. Game was close in the first. Right here, it's Jonathan Lloyd in for the injured Dominic Artis. Now it's Singler passing off to Woods, and he gets a dunk of his own. Ducks now up 23-20. Willie Moore also got a lot of playing time thanks to the Artis injury. And here is Carlos Emery again for the slam. Finished with 11 points. Most of them came in transition. It's 30-28 Oregon now. CJ Wilcox right here for Washington makes a nifty cut. Kept the game close. Score 33-31. Oregon still leading. Picking it up in the second half, another transition basket. EJ Singler, he finished with 18 points. Now it's EJ Singler on the dish, though. Arsalan Kazemi and one underneath. Dana Altman likes that. Ducks up big in the second half, 59-48. Down the stretch, though, all about the free throws and fouls. One of them right here, Jonathan Lloyd made a few big ones, 7 total from the line. Helped the Ducks overcome 23 turnovers. Washington made it close with threes like this one from Scott Suggs, but it was not enough. Oregon wins 81-76.